If you're looking for, oh, well, thank you, Aaron. That is so nice. And thank you so much for the compliment. You have a Merry Christmas too. Thank you. That is so nice. Very much appreciated. That is very nice. Thank you. So, if you are, if you do have a question, please put it down below. A Merry Christmas, BMIR. Thank you. Um, so if you have a question, please put it down below. If you do like the feed, please like, please share and please follow. And if you do feel inclined, but you don't have to, please thank us because it does help me to know what my viewers like, what is resonating with them, and also too, it helps me to know, and plan my content. Okay. Well, thank you for the rose. Oh, thank you, Emily, for the rose. Amy Lee, thank you for the roses. That's very nice. Um, I can see what is you've been working security. Okay, transition to what? Because if you're in security, hey, thank you, ISAP, for the follow. Thank you. Um, what are you trying to transition? You've been in the role before. Uh, there is. Well, thank you for the follow, Amelia. India, thank you for the follow. That's so nice. I think it is, it's always going to be a bit different, because you're working in one sector, you worked security for 6 years. It's going to be a little bit of a change. I think what you need to focus on is really the similarities. So look for jobs and roles where you can really just draw on the same skills. And again, what I always will say when you're thinking about, changing jobs, changing careers, um, do a skills assessment. Think about the skills you already have and kind of put it down. Hey, HKev, good to see you. It's been a while. Um, think about the skills, put it down, and then start to look at the jobs that you want, you're looking for. And take a look at what do they require. And sometimes you may just find that you already have the skills. And so what you just need to do then is really repurpose it, and maybe use like a functional or chronological of a functional CV. Um, it's to use a functional CV to highlight your skills, to show people that you do have the skills for the job. And then what it will do then with a functional CV, it shows that you, hey, Ninja Tyler, it will then show that you have, the skills for it, and without really having to draw a lot of attention to your work history. If you're looking to really to make a big change from, let's say, security to finance, for example, I don't think it is. I don't think it will be. If you have supervisor experience, what you really need to do is do a bit of work on editing, and really focus on that job description. So, like I said, go through and think about all the skills you have, and then look at the jobs that you're interested in doing. And it may just be that you do have the skills, and it's just about repackaging and doing a functional CV, highlighting the skills, putting in a little bit of your job history, and you'll be there. So it is, I think it is, I think you can, especially if you have supervisory experience. It's just knowing, oh, thank you. Thank you, Cozy. I think you do have the experience. I think you do, really have the ability to make that change. Well, thank you. That's amazing. Really love it. And I really do believe you have it. What you just need to do really is showcase it. If it is something, let's say you want to go from, let's say, security to computers, you may have to do like some additional training, like go to a boot camp to show that you can code so that, you'll get jobs in it, or undertake things like, IDLE or project management, you know, to really kind of give you a bit of grounding. It's an AI. What I have, it's a OBSOT mini 4K, and it is a AI generated. So problem I have with it when I do my lives is it watches hand movements, and so if I move my hands, because I do have a tendency to talk with my hands, so if I kind of move my hands a bit, it will tend to pick up on the hand movements and make little adjustments and follow me around. So I always have to be a bit kind of conscious about where it's at. And if I start kicking it off, then have to kind of like hold my hands back because it will start tracking my movement. And it'll start like zooming in and zooming out and stuff. So it can be a bit. It's a nice camera. It gives an amazing feed, an amazing picture quality. The only thing is that no, I don't. Um, it is a more of the higher end of webcams. It's not the most expensive, but it's one of the more it's the higher end. It's not in the kind of like what I would say for most webcams. If you're looking for a relatively good one in the 40 to 80 pound range, this is um a lot more. I won't say a lot more, a bit more. Um, the ObSpot one, the one that I have, I think right now you can get it on TikTok Shop. It is I think right around 190. I think it's like right around 190, 200 pounds. Um, but I've seen it kind of on and off on the TikTok Shop. And I don't think it gets a lot of sales due to the fact TikTok is, I don't believe, is the kind of like Amazon or kind of like a Dell website where people really take time to research their products. I think TikTok tends to be more impulse, where they will go for like come across. But it should be, if you're able to really dictate the evidence that you can show that you've done it, it should be less of an issue. Um, and the reason why I say this is this. Um, I'm not a big fan of psychological assessments because I think there's a lot of things that can skew them beyond. You know, um, I think there's a lot that can skew results on psychological assessments, so I'm not a big fan of them. But what I will say is this: if you take a look at if you look at any type of job, may it be programmer, coder, network, um, finance manager, accountant, whatever, just picking these as kind of random, no, for no other specific reason, because they're the first ones that come to mind. If you take a look at them, um, one second, Louise, and if you take a look, and I will come to you really quickly because this is something I do talk about. Um, what I would then say to you is, you'll find that people will have very similar types of personality styles and stuff. So um, if you're applying for a job, um, yes, they can have some biases, but I think what it comes down to is if you look, let's say programs, a lot of programmers will be introverts. So if you go in and apply for a job as a programmer, you're going to have very similar personality traits. And so I don't think in an interview is going to be that much of a difference. Um, it may be the way you comes down to maybe how you respond or something may throw it off, but I don't really think it's going to be that big of an issue. Let me come to you, Louisa. Um, okay, so the best thing to do is, as I was talking again with an earlier one, it's you know it is the way to do it is is a functional CV. Functional CVs. There's a whole slew of them. You can just put into a search engine, TikTok, um, you know, Google, whatever, and put in functional CV. It'll give you examples of functional CVs. And basically, what a functional CV is, it highlights your skills and de-emphasizes your work history. So when you do it, what it will show is your a functional CV. It will show your skills, and then it will have like a little section, job history, where you just put in, company XYZ from this date to this date, company ABC this date to this date, and it really kind of what it then does is um, de-emphasizes your job history. It detracts from it. And so what the recruiter is saying, it's not the gaps in your job history, but it sees your ability to do things and what you have done, what you have achieved, and your education, everything. So it then shows that you can do the job. It's just it then takes away from the gaps. But let me just be clear on that too. Just because your CV kind of de-emphasizes a functional CV de-emphasizes the gaps, and it may get you into the interview. What it may still mean is when you go into that interview, it still may be asked about why do you have the gaps. So you'll still need to have an explanation for it. But what the functional CV will do for you, it will get you at least past that stage and get you into interviews. So where you can London, but I've had a few interviews for like Manchester and Newcastle and stuff and Nottingham. Um, what I would say to you is kind of like this is, you need to keep your options open, and keep your options open and look at it, because it is going to be very much, I think, ebb and flow. And I think, with it was just announced last night, I believe, by ONS Office of National Statistics that the unemployment rate has risen to 5.1, which now we start kind of getting into the point where we're no longer in full employment depending on the definition you use. So it means that jobs are getting more difficult to find, especially in the areas where it's never been really productive, like kind of like the Midlands, East Riding. I'm If you're looking to do something else in medicine, that's going to be hard. I think the only thing I could think off the top of my head is I've known a few medical students when they've gone on look to doing kind of like medical engineering, developing patents, and getting something patent and getting a like a spin-off company to market, sell their product. So I think what you would need to do is look for opportunities where you could maybe do some engineering, medical engineering. Come up with something maybe like an adaptation to something, a new medical device. Come up with something like that. I think, but that would require a lot of investment, and a lot of investment and a lot of legalities to ensure that you're not violating anybody's intellectual property, especially on patents, copyrights, design, trademarks. You really would need to get a lot of legal advice and a lot of legal support on it. The other thing that you could do, which again is it's less lucrative, less uncertain, but if you do it right, it can be a well. Thank you, Jay, for the likes. It can be a very good rainy day for you, and that is medical going into medical research and teaching. Because if you can teach, you can do research, and if you're good at research and you get a reputation for being a researcher, you can bring in a lot of funding. A lot of funding means again a better income for you. It means prestige. It means like books, patents, um, getting your potentially even getting a spin-off company to market your product. So it is probably if you're not going to go down the engineering route, the one that's really close to it would be medical research and kind of developing your reputation. It won't be a quick turnaround. It will take years of getting published. It will be years of speaking and getting the funding. Be if you can get the funding, and bring in the funding, bring in the researchers, and attract researchers to the university that you're working. It can be a very nice, very kind of lucrative field. The other one would be looking to go into pharmaceuticals. Um, and again, if you can do, let's say, pharmaceuticals, um, it would be, I think, another good area. You know, um, I think it would be another one. I think it'd be another kind of good area here. Um, Now, the final area for you to consider would be practicing in the U.S. U.S. It is again very would be very expensive. The visa process probably would be a very long visa process. But once you did your internship, you've done your residency, um, you're talking well into the six figures even to start.